her topic, I just wanted to talk to you guys about, Liz, can you just hit record?
I got it.
Hopefully it's not the fake record like Katie from last week where it was recording the whole time and then just disappeared. But yeah, I just wanted to talk quick before Liz gets started because in March, I'm going to be running a push group. So for those of you guys that haven't participated in one before, push groups are designed to run for a couple weeks. So we have the Coach Basics, which, teaches you all of the groundworks and the basics. And right now, I have coaches that are in kind of phase 2, which is the Emerald phase. So this is the next phase. For all of the coaches that have advanced to Emerald, so that is going to be one requirement for this group. You have to be an Emerald coach and you have to maintain Emerald status throughout the entire program. So if you're looking to push and you want to be part of this group, make sure that you hit Emerald before we start the first Monday of March. That being said, over the last few weeks, I've been in an awesome group with 9 superstar diamonds. And for those of you guys that kind of stalk top coaches like me, Lindsay Matway, Melanie Mitro, Brittany Leggett, Brandy Botts. So those are some of the names of the coaches that are running this group that I'm in. And I've been stockpiling all of this information and trying to find what's the best of it, what's the best and most applicable content for you guys. And I'm putting together a 30-day group. So that's what's going to be the March group. So if you're interested in being part of this group, think about what you can do over the next week or so to get yourself to Emerald. And, I'm definitely excited to pass all this information on to you guys. There's so much amazing training. This whole week is focused on social media. We're, talking about like pages and personal pages and Instagram and all this stuff that's really critical to take your business to the next level. So I'm super, super, super excited to share it with the entire TNT Dynasty. So, whoever your, upline is, reach out to me. Let me know if you want to be a part of this group. I'll get it together and I'll post the information on the team page within the next few days, probably over the weekend. But I'm super excited, so I just wanted to tell you guys about that group that's coming up. Along with, we'll still have Coach Basics running, the way we always do, first Monday of the month. But this is for, I wanted to do something for our more seasoned coaches out there. All right, that's enough time. Hand it over to you, Lizzie.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Tonight, I'm going to be talking to you guys about one of the personal development books that I just read. It was really amazing, and I want to share it with you guys, either to just give you the cliff notes or to inspire you to go read it yourself. Hopefully, I give you enough information where you can implement everything that I'm going to talk to you about, starting tomorrow. So I'm going to I'm going to share screen here. Okay. Okay, good. And it's still recording, so that looks good. Okay. And let me just put this in present mode. All right, cool. All right. So the book that I recently read, and real quick, Lori mentioned she's in this amazing push group with these elite coaches. Once you hit like Diamond or Star Diamond, you also get to be part of weekly brainstorming phone calls with people, mastermind calls they call them, and it's actually hosted by corporate. And this is actually where I learned about the Miracle Morning, and I was so inspired by this girl's presentation that I went out and bought the book, and I literally read it in 2 days. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. The Miracle Morning, it's a book that's written by Hal Elrod, and he was an entrepreneur himself. He did coaching, just regular coaching for inspirational coaching for people in his early 20s. And what happened to him is he got in a really, really bad car accident. He had hit ebbs and flows in his career. He was, kind of struggling to make ends meet by doing his own thing. But then one day he was actually at a peak in his career and got into a life or death car accident. And everybody told him that he was never going to walk again. They told his family because he was he was on like ventilators for, I guess, over a week or two. They told him if he does wake up, he could be brain dead. So all these things were going on in the background. And he was, comatose at the time. And when he woke up, he was being told over and over again by people he would never be the person he was before, let alone, doing the things that he wanted to do with his life. So he kind of, from that point on, took a new lease on life and pretty much said, with his sales background and his coaching background, he knew that he had it inside him to overcome anything. And so the theory behind the Miracle Morning is that you wake up every morning 1 hour before you need to be somewhere. Basically, it's giving yourself an hour before you need to wake up. So right now, your alarm might be going off at 7 o'clock because you need to be at work at 8. Okay. So between 7 and 8, you're rushing around, you're getting your kids breakfast, or you're getting yourself breakfast, or you're taking a shower, you're running around, maybe catching 5 minutes of the Today Show here or there. But most likely you're probably rushing if you're only giving yourself the amount of time that you actually need before you need to be somewhere to wake up. So he's saying wake up every morning at least an hour before that. And I really like this quote. Oh, no, geez, I always do that. Sorry about that. And I love this quote. Basically, he's saying this because you want to become the most extraordinary person and live an extraordinary life. And it's funny because she talked about the Miracle Morning in her presentation. So of course I went out immediately and I downloaded it on my phone and I read it in 2 days. Like I was reading it between patients, reading it first thing in the morning. And then I was doing a little more research and I saw that there was a Miracle Morning for network marketers. So that's us. And I'm like, oh man, I read the wrong book. So that's definitely something that it's the same concept. Everything's the same concept, but if you are going to read one or the other, I haven't read the one for network marketers yet. So that might be something you want to read too, because it's probably more tailored towards the business side of things. But I tailor my Miracle Morning now towards that anyway. So hopefully they're not too different, but I'll read the other one and let you guys know. All right. And the number one cause of mediocrity is telling ourselves that there's always tomorrow. And it's funny because just a few weeks ago, I had a really bad day and I thought to myself, well, the best part about today is that there's tomorrow. And then I read this book and this quote came up and I'm like, oh, that's so crazy. And I mean, we're allowed to give ourselves, time we're all going to have bad days and that's going to happen. But this quote is really speaking to those people who are constantly pushing things off to the next minute or pushing things off till I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to do my workout tonight. I'm going to do my power hour tonight. I'm going to do my inviting later on. When you push off those things, a lot of times they're not going to happen because life gets in the way. And, we don't want to be mediocre by any means, or you wouldn't be here. So before we get even more into it, I just want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. So first, how do you feel when you wake up? Do you wake up in the morning and do you hit snooze 4 or 5 times before you actually get out of bed? Do you wake up and think, oh my God, I did not get enough sleep last night. I cannot believe it's 5 o'clock already. Oh my God, how am I going to get through this day? Or are you the person that wakes up and you don't hit snooze at all and you're out, you're ready to go. You brush your teeth, you do your thing and you're going on. Well, if that's you and you're already there, then you may not need this talk. But if you're like a large majority of us, you might wake up feeling unrested and just kind of like, I can't believe it's morning already. Now ask yourself, what does your morning look like right now? Are you taking your time or are you in a hurry? Are you always feeling like you're running late? Do you always feel like you're rushing out the door with, you're shaking your hand and your hair wet and you just feel like you're always rushing and that you didn't get enough things done? And I also want you to think for a minute about what do I want to achieve today and tomorrow and in a year? And thinking about those things, did your morning set you up to accomplish those? Okay, so just think about that for a minute. Okay. So why the morning? A lot of people are not, they'll tell themselves that they're not morning people, that they are night owls, that they like to get things done at night. They say, I can't wake up in the morning. I've never been a morning person. But really, you can think of your morning as like a tabula rasa, like it's a blank slate. Everything's wiped clean. There's usually less distractions in the morning. If something does go wrong in the morning, you can anticipate further problems throughout your day. So if you wake up and, you start doing your power hour and, something goes wrong, you're able to kind of manipulate your day around all those things, versus if something goes wrong later in the day might almost be over and you won't be able to work around those. Research shows you also have increased energy and a rested mind. And also, there's been a lot of studies about like night nurses and a lot of mistakes that happen at nighttime on units in nursing, on nursing floors in hospitals. So it's really true that negative and physical and mental effects increase in those who are night owls per se. Or think too, there's people who go out every night and party and drink and, do all those things, which is fine every once in a while. But if you're that person who's going out clubbing, you're not going to be as focused in the morning as those people who get a good night's sleep or go to bed with good intentions. So I wanted to give you 5 tips to snooze-proof your morning, because I definitely had gotten into the habit of pressing snooze over and over and over again. And every time that you do that, you're already awake. The first time that your alarm goes off, you're up. So you might as well get up, because when you do fall back asleep, you're not even in a deep sleep. It's not even a good sleep for you. It's like that in between. Nothing good comes out of that time. So 5 tips for you are to set your intentions the night before. There's a whole chapter in the book that talks about how you feel, and if you put out the energy that you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to be excited and that it's going to be a good morning regardless of what time you go to bed. So for example, like tonight, I probably am not going to go to bed until 11 and I have to get up at 5. And if I say to myself, oh my God, I'm only going to get, 6 hours of sleep tonight, that's not enough sleep. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to be so tired. How am I going to get through my day? Chances are I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel that way. But instead, if I go to bed at 11 and I say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning with tons of energy and I'm going to get my day started right, chances are you've already set your intentions and you've given yourself that positive vibe before getting up in the morning. The second thing, moving your alarm clock across the room. This is huge. If you have to get up to go turn your alarm off, you're up. Stay up. Don't go back to sleep. And also, with that being said, turn your lights on right away if you can. If somebody's sleeping next to you, obviously that might be a hard thing. But if you could turn your lights on and go across the room and wake up, that's the best thing you can do to wake up. Brush your teeth and drink a full glass of water, because when you wake up in the morning, we're dehydrated. We haven't drank anything for 8 hours or however many hours of sleep you get. So that's really important. And that's really important for your health too. Just drink a full glass of water when you wake up. And then get dressed in your workout clothes. Or if you don't work out in the morning and you want to get dressed to go to work later or whatever, just get dressed out of your pajamas. Because if you are doing all this stuff in your pajamas, you're more likely to want to go lay back in bed again. Okay. And before I get into the actual miracle morning and what it is, your miracle morning should reflect your goals. So everybody's might look a little bit different, and that's okay. You're going to see mine, and that might not look like yours because you might not have the same goals as I do. And it's going to be habit forming. So it's going to be something that you want to instill in yourself day after day. Now, I started reading this book about 2 weeks ago, so I can't say I've been through the 30-day challenge that it gives us, but ever since I've been doing it, I'm 6 days in a row of waking up when my alarm goes off and doing the steps that I tell you about. And I seriously feel amazing. Like my whole day, even when things do go wrong in my day, I just have a better energy about it. So I wish I could say I've been doing it for 30 days yet, but I will say that in 30 days that I have. And then that's the other thing, no excuses. So don't make excuses. Like we all make so many excuses all the time, and really just don't even give yourself those negative thoughts, because when you start thinking those things, you're going to start acting those things. So just try to be positive and leave the excuses to somebody else. You don't need to be making those. And then be the coach you want to become. Okay, so if you are telling your own challengers, and I think Katie had mentioned this last week, to do the vital behaviors every day, but you're not doing them yourself, I mean, that's not going to be helpful for you at all. So be that person that you want to, be that coach that you want to become and that you want your coaches to become as well, because they're going to follow your lead. Okay. So Hal Elrod broke the Miracle Morning down into a series of things that are called lifesavers. And I really, the biggest thing with personal development is I used to try to just ignore the first three of the lifesavers, like silence, affirmations, and visualization. I just didn't want to do any of that stuff. I didn't think I needed to do it. And I just thought, oh, someday I'll get to it. But since I've been doing it, it's really been amazing for me personally and in my business. So I'm going to go through each of these individually because there's a lot to go over here. So the first one is silence. And it is so hard for us to sit in silence, I feel, as people were so busy all the time. But all you really need to do to start this, and this is all I do in the morning, is just I set my alarm for 4 minutes. So I go do all those I wake up, brush my teeth, do those things. I sit down and it's just in a quiet room and I shut my eyes. And you can use any of these different mediums to sit in silence: meditation, prayer, whether you're praying or doing reflection of your day, deep breathing, or gratitude. For me, deep breathing works really well. So I just breathe in, take a big deep breath in through my nose and a big deep breath out through my mouth. And the way that you really know that you're taking a really good deep breath is that your stomach will rise, not your chest. So when you get those big deep breaths, you should feel your stomach rise out, okay? So what I do is I just sit on the floor and I sit in a, crisscross applesauce. That's what happens when you have a toddler. And I shut my eyes and I set that alarm and I breathe in and I breathe out. And during that time, I'm also doing a little bit of meditation. So I breathe in and to myself in my head, I breathe in and I say, I breathe in love and I breathe out energy. Okay, so I breathe in love, I breathe out energy. So I want to feel all the love from the atmosphere and everything. And then I want to give my energy out there and I want that to be there for the whole day. You can replace that with anything, but I found that the easiest way to get me started. Just those two phrases. So you can breathe in peace, breathe out, I don't know, anything you want to do. So that's the first one. And then affirmation is the second one. This really touched on what I talked about last month. You can just read your why. I mean, that counts as your affirmation. I love this because Muhammad Ali said to himself over and over and over and over again before he was the greatest that I am the greatest. And he would say it out loud when he was training over and over and over again because he maybe in the beginning didn't, he wasn't the greatest, but he believed he was. And what did he become? Like the greatest boxer of all time, right? So it can happen. So affirmations, they allow you to design and then develop the mindset that you need to take to take your area of your life to the next level, whichever area of your life you want to work on. So just think about your why, and think about creating your affirmations and read them out loud. It really makes a difference. So think about what you really want, why you want it, who you're committed to being to create it, and what you are committed to doing to attain it. So those are some easy questions that you can answer. If you haven't written your why out yet, this is another way you can go about it. And then the next one is visualizing. So you can do this in a couple different ways. You can make a vision board. I think Laura talked about that one week on the call about creating your vision boards. And you could just have that out and maybe look it over for 2 or 3 minutes in the morning. Or you could just visualize steps into what you want to do with your day. So you can just close your eyes. Some people put music on, some people don't. Some people do it in the shower. It doesn't really matter. But to be, within this miracle morning, which I found most beneficial, I just do it right after I do my affirmations. And visualize what you really want. Like, don't visualize, just something that's, minimal. Think big, dream big, visualize huge. Okay. So, and visualize what you really want to accomplish. You can and then I want you to think about who you need to be and what you need to do within your day to accomplish that. So you can walk yourself through the steps of, your day, visualizing it in your head. So this could be a whole talk on visualization. And for any of those things that I just talked about, I'm very new to those 3 things. So it's really anybody can do it. And I actually Googled a couple things to get some ideas. So you can Google any of that stuff. Exercise. Well, we're all doing exercise programs or we want to be here. I don't know when you guys do your exercise. I do mine in the morning. It does show research shows when you exercise in the morning that it increases oxygen, improves self-confidence, and enhances your mental clarity. It just keeps your energy up throughout the day. If you told yourself that you couldn't exercise in the morning, you can. Laura is the perfect example of it. She hated waking up in the morning and exercising, and now she's like a 5:30 exercise girl like the rest of us. So it can be done. Next is reading. Again, this goes hand in hand with our vital behaviors, which is great. Learn from the expert. Learn from the experts. Don't expect that you know everything already. Don't push this off. Forget the name of the guy who did the National Wake Up Call a few weeks ago, but he said he pushed off personal development for like 2 years because he felt like he didn't need it. Well, all you have to do is commit to 10 pages a day. Really, if you do that, he worked it out that's, could possibly be over 18 self-help books a year if you're averaging like a 200-page book. That's pretty amazing what you'll accomplish in a year. And it has to be unique to you. I think Katie touched on this before last week. She said, you don't want to be doing personal development for something that's not important to you. So find something that you need to work on. And again, reread it and then implement it. Don't just read it and let it go out your mind. I mentioned that you could possibly read 18 self-help books in a year, but if you don't use any of that information, none of that means anything. And then the last one is scribing. So basically journaling. And you don't need to write a novel. You could write a sentence. It could just be, I'm thankful for the ability to work out today. I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my team. I'm thankful for my coaches. I'm thankful for my family. That's really bad that family came after all those things that I just said. But, it could be an accomplishment of the day that you are so excited that you achieved or something you want to improve on. I'd suggest keeping everything pretty positive in your journal. But that's up to you. There are journals that are kind of scripted for you. So an example, they do have a Miracle Morning journal that you could buy, or he talked about you could download a 5-minute journal, which is on the internet. That's an online journal. But they prompt you. So it has prompts to talk to you about what you want to write about. So that's the next. So it's, journaling is the last part of the lifesavers. Okay. And you may be thinking, like, how do I do all that in an hour? And then how do I also do my power hour? Well, I'm going to go into all that in a minute. But real quick, I challenge you to do this for 30 days. I challenge you to wake up an hour earlier than you need to do. And the reason why is because it takes 30 days to really create that habit and for the transformation to occur. Those days 1 through 10, they are unbearable. You may feel like you hate it. Like, why am I waking up so early? This is so uncomfortable. And I mentioned that the quote about mediocrity in the beginning. Well, it's so crazy because 95% of our society, they fail within this stage. They do not get out of the 10th day. And I'm talking about people who try to quit smoking or, try to do a diet or whatever it is. They fail before day 10. They can't get through it because they're not understanding that it's only temporary. So after 10 days, this becomes not so unbearable. It might become a little bit uncomfortable. And this is where you're just getting used to those new habits and you're starting to gain confidence. Like, I'm only on day 6 and I already feel more confident. And then by day 21 through 30, this is phase 3 where you become unstoppable. Now, don't stop here. Don't stop at 21 days. Don't stop at 30 days, because that also happens too, is then you think, and this happens to me all the time when I finish a challenge group. I'm done with my 30 days and my next 5 days are preseason in my group. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to just eat whatever I want and do whatever I want for those 5 days. I'm going to skip my workouts. Well, that's not a good idea. Like, just keep going. You're allowed to take a day off. That's no problem. But don't take off like 4 or 5 days once you've got this momentum going. Just keep going, because that's where the transformation is going to really occur. Uh-oh. Sorry. Oh, okay. So here's my miracle morning, just to give you an idea. So your miracle morning actually starts the night before. What I've been doing is I've been taking my Post-its and I write down 6 non-negotiable tasks for the next day. And when I say non-negotiable tasks, that's not like getting my daughter ready or getting her out the door or making my lunch or doing things that I have to do to actually be, a parent or go to work that day. I'm talking about, waking up at 5 o'clock and then I'm doing part of my power hour within my miracle morning, which you'll see in just a second. If it's like I need to make a post for a new group coming up, those are like the non-negotiables that I need to do that next day. Working out is actually a non-negotiable for me, but they can be whatever means to you. But I write them down the night before. I talked about it earlier, but I also say I'm going to wake up with energy. So right before I go to bed, that is the last thought, and that's the last thing I say. Then in the morning, I walk across the room, I turn my alarm off, brush my teeth, drink my water, or if you drink Energize in the morning, whatever you drink, and I get into my workout clothes. That takes about 5 minutes, and I wake up at 5, so I set my alarm for 5 o'clock. And then I do the part of the lifesavers that he talked about. So I do my silence, which I talked to you guys about. I do my affirmation. I just read my why that I told you guys about a couple weeks ago. I do my visualization, and then I write for 5 minutes. And I've been writing a lot about gratitude and what I'm thankful for and what's been going well. So that's what I've been doing personally. Now, that is not an hour, right? That's not like, an hour in that time that it takes me. So the non-negotiable for me is inviting. That's my frog. That's the thing that I hate doing and I would put off forever. And Katie last week said that that's the easiest thing for her to do. Well, it's not so easy for me. So I made that part of my miracle morning because I know I have to do that. And I put a lot of thought into that. So it takes me a good 20 minutes to do it. And then I will follow up my emails. I'll check in with my calendars, check the office, create a post or a video that day. That basically is that first hour of my life. I don't include exercise in that because I always exercise when my daughter gets up, because I know that if I start exercising before that, she'll wake up during that time and I'll have to stop that. And then I read and listen to personal development in the car. So I do a lot of stuff on audio in the car. So I kind of call that like my gratitude mobile, and like I like to learn in the car a lot. So for me, my miracle morning doesn't include all of the savers that I talked about, the lifesavers. And then, so the action item that I have for you guys is to go out there and create your own miracle morning. So I challenge you all to wake up an hour before you have to get up tomorrow to be somewhere or to do something. So if your kids wake up at 6 and you know you have to do that at 6, or you need to be out the door at 6 to go to work or walk the dogs or whatever it may be, I urge you to wake up at 5. And I don't expect everybody, like the first day for me, like it was tough. Like by the time I got myself going and focused, it was like already like 5:30 and I hadn't really done too much yet. So it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Sorry, I talked so fast. There's just a lot I wanted to say. And then I love this quote from Oprah: "The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams." So I hope that leaves you guys with some motivation this week, and to go out there and, Team Cup's going on, and to maybe be able to implement some of this stuff to help you guys with your business and just your mindsets for the rest of February. So, that's it.
Awesome job, Liz. I know that a lot of coaches, when they're first starting out, we're all working full time, most of us, or, busy getting kids up and ready in the morning. And a lot of people don't know where they're going to fit in this business into their daily lives. And so many coaches, whether it's Scotty Hobbs or Melanie Mitro or Brittany Leggett, they talked about how they built this business in minutes and hours. So they literally woke up at 5, worked for an hour, worked at lunch, and worked an hour after their kids went to bed. And they built incredibly successful businesses an hour at a time. We don't necessarily have 8 hours to string together. And a lot of the times we end up wasting so much time. So something like this, where you're setting a timer or you're challenging yourself to get as much done in a short amount of time as possible, like really focus on it and see how much you can get done as quickly as possible. But I thought this was awesome. I'm excited to read the book. I think it sounds great. And if you guys ever come across awesome books, please post them in the team page so we can share them. I'm always looking for a new great book. I mostly listen to them in my motivation mobile too. All I do is listen in the car. Anybody have any questions about tonight's call or about the group or anything? We only have a couple minutes left.
I'm just going to go off what Liz was talking about. I know this is more of like kind of a negative thought, but what drives me to get out of the bed in the morning is thinking of the people who want to see me fail and not succeed. Those are the first people that come to my head, and I pop right out of bed every time. So I know it's not really positive thinking, more negatively, but it works for me to get up out of bed in the morning.
Whatever can get you out of bed. I have to like put my phone in my closet so that I like go and have to open up the door and get it, that sounds so annoying.
Yeah, I heard of this cool alarm clock that's a pad that's like a floor mat next to your bed that you have to put your feet on in order to get the alarm to go off. And you can set that it has to be like 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So your feet actually have to put pressure on in order to make the alarm go off. And I'm like, God, I know so many people that would benefit from. Because once your feet are on the floor, you're pretty much up. All right, guys, I think we're going to run out of time. Thanks all for showing up. I love seeing all your faces every Wednesday night. Thank you so much to Liz for hosting. It was an awesome call. And we'll see you guys all next week. Let's end the month strong. Hey, guys. See ya.
Thank you.